Good evening and welcome to a very special program, Cricit Predicta on NewsX powered by 1x BAT. I'm Megha Sharma. Now, after a decade-long wait, Team India has reached the final of the T20 World Cup for the third time. Led by Rohit Sharma, India defeated defending champions England by 68 runs, avenging their 2022 World Cup semi-final loss. In a rain-affected semi-final at Providence Stadium in Guyana, England captain Jos Buttler won the toss and opted to bowl. India set a target of 172 thanks to a brilliant 50 by Rohit Sharma. Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel spearheaded the bowling attack, collectively taking 6 wickets, while Jasprit Bumrah dismissed Phil Salt and Sofra Archer. England was all out for 103 runs in 16.4 overs. And with this victory, India secured their place in the final against South Africa, aiming to end their title drought with a historic win. India's journey to the finals saw them face arch rivals Pakistan and teams like America and Ireland in the league stage, with a rain-affected match against Canada. Now, in the Super 8, India convincingly defeated Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Australia to reach the semi-finals. Their dominant performance continued as they avenged the 2022 semi-final defeat by eliminating England. And on the other hand, South Africa, which was led by Aiden Markham, made it to the Super 8 by defeating Sri Lanka, Netherlands, Bangladesh and Nepal. They continued their winning streak by overcoming America, West Indies and England, and then thrashed Afghanistan in the semi-finals, bowling them out for just 56 runs and winning by 9 wickets. The stage is now set for an epic showdown in the T20 World Cup final. And to get you an update and have this animated discussion about the T20 finals, joining me on the telecast is Sunil Kalra.
Thank you, Megha. It's bright and sunny in Dubai ICC headquarters. The sun has come out in Netherlands, Sydney, Nairobi, where all my 3 guests are joined. Also, I'm sure in Kolkata because of Sourav Ganguly, who's going to join us later in the program. Thank you very much. Again, Paul Dinech, you're the best man to describe how things panned out and your favorite team, England. Again, I repeat, for yesterday's program, Paul Dinech, an Aussie podcaster, was supporting England and his team lost. Paul, just sum up the emotions, sum up the performance of the Indian team.
Well, yeah, I said I was supporting England, but I said that out of respect to India because I expect that as the years go by, India are going to be so hard to beat. And I like the fact that at the moment, Australia has more white ball trophies than anyone else. And I think that India is our biggest threat. Having said that, once England started to lose, it was kind of fun as well. I kind of enjoyed the destruction by India. It was just so powerful. It reminded me a bit of Usain Bolt in the semi-final of a 200-metre race that he won without really getting out of second gear. England were totally outclassed by India. And I suppose that was always going to be on the cards, on that surface that favoured spin. We spoke about it yesterday, that the England spinners are decent. Adil Rashid is more than decent. I was surprised that Moeen Ali didn't even get a bowl, but the Indian spinners were just absolutely supreme. And they batted really well as well on a difficult pitch.
Tanmay Mishra, you've been the brand ambassador for all the associate members. Do you think it's finally the big boys coming into the party? Tanmay, I have to request you to unmute. Unmute yourself and then come back on. Yeah. Yes, go on, Tanmay. Tanmay, I have to request you to unmute. Unmute yourself and then come back. I think we seem to have a little bit of a problem. Snail Phadke, who makes a debut into Cricit Predicta. Snail, former India player. Snail, what did you make of Team India's performance yesterday?
I would just like to correct one thing over there. I have not played for India. So I was really there, but I did not play for India myself. I am here in Netherlands and on the panel of umpires with the Dutch Cricket Board. And I work with the Dutch Cricket Board and manage the development of women and youth cricket for Netherlands. But thank you very much for inviting me on the show, Sunil. Sorry.
Snell, what was how did you look at the Team India's performance yesterday?
The performance that the team showed was tremendous. I mean, obviously, we all were expecting magic from India and really hoping that we also lift the trophy finally in the finals, keeping our fingers crossed for that. But yesterday's performance was tremendous. When it comes to defending a total in such a crucial match, it is always very difficult. And with the wicket, which was slightly unpredictable and quite a slow wicket is pitch is what we know about the conditions yesterday. But the batters did really well. We put up a really good score in front of England, and finally, that score was a total that couldn't be, chased very easily by England, and we registered a tremendous win in the semi-finals.
Alternate, when you saw India lose Virat Kohli, I mean, what was happening? What was going through your mind?
Well, I was thinking that England had a real chance, but I think that what India did so well was they played with judicious aggression throughout, that there was some balls that were keeping low, some balls that were spinning sharply, but in and amongst that, there was some very fine shots and some aggression shown as well. They got the tempo quite right, that by the end they were down to the last of their recognised batters, but they do bat quite deep these days. And so there were lots of 20s and 30s chipping in, wickets falling regularly. They really timed it really well, and I think they understood the conditions well. I was a fool. I thought at the innings break that it was a 50-50 sort of situation, but a lot of other people were saying 170 was far too much on that pitch, and that once England started to struggle, I've seen that story so many times before, when Australia has struggled against quality Indian spinners. Once the first couple of wickets fell, I suddenly realised England has no chance here, and they limped to 100. So, stunning victory.
Tanmay Mishra, I hope you're back. Tanmay, back into the game? Yes, absolutely. Tanmay, just explain us the batting part from the power play to the 14th over and from 15th to 20th. I think experts and the critics hailed it as one of the best ways, a template to accelerate your game. Go back when the times are tough and then suddenly make a comeback. Your views, Tanmay.
I think I think the answers just lie in your questions. You've just summed it up for me. As soon as we lost Virat Kohli and Rishabh, you could see on Rohit's face, he knew exactly that this is not a 200 wicket. And some of the shots that he played, some of the aggression that he had in his batting, it was controlled. He took along, the experience showed, he took along Surya Kumar Yadav with him and sort of, nurtured him that this is not a bang, bang, bang wicket. You've got to hit the ball for a boundary, then take a singles. I remember that Rashid over where he reverse swept him and then gently hit him for another sweep. We've been saying all along that on challenging wickets, batsmen haven't been brave enough. And yesterday was the very first time we saw Rohit being smart and being delicate at the same time. He wasn't pressured. He knew what was required on this wicket, and he even said it in his post-match conference that I knew in my mind what the wicket was and how much it required. You look at his batting from after the power play, there were boundaries that was hit. There was, I think there were 2-3 overs where they just took 5 singles, but they never looked that they're not in control. And then came that big over of Sam Curran where Rohit Sharma did Rohit Sharma things. Only Rohit could do those things, where he swept him for a 6. Surya Kumar Yadav was special. And they set it up for Hardik Pandya very nicely. Even though Hardik got out, the over that he got out to, he had already taken 15 runs off those overs. Those 2 overs of 19 and 15, you could tell on Jos Buttler's face, as soon as the total reached 150, they knew they were in for it. I was a bit surprised, Sunil sir. We've been on this platform and we've continuously said how difficult it is for chasing. And as soon as the toss was lost by India, and I was just shaking my head, and then Jos Buttler decided to field because there was some drizzles and rain. And I knew there and then that they've given a hurting lion like Rohit Sharma another chance to, go and hunt. And when a hurting lion is there in the jungle, he's going to kill.
Very, very nicely put it in that manner. Snehal, when you look at the scorecard going a little slow, under 8 and over is usually a slow score in T20 in today's context. But Indians kept on to it. Do you think it was all planned, plan A, plan B, all coming into force simultaneously from both ends, batting? We seem to have a little problem with Snehal Phadke's again. Snehal, if you can hear us, you've got to unmute. Yes. Unfortunately, we'll come back to Snehal in a while. Paul Dillett, do you think it was a judicious plan of plan A, B going together? Because Surya Kumar Yadav, experts say that 40 runs extra came in from the fabricated shots and not the cricketing shots, which Rohit and Surya Kumar Yadav put it. Would you subscribe to that?
Yeah, I thought it was just a masterclass in batting on a difficult pitch, and I really agree with Tanmay that I thought it was a surprising decision to bowl first by England. I actually hinted at it in the show yesterday that players don't trust Duckworth-Lewis enough to realise that you don't have to bowl first these days. The formula will take care of you. Plus, they had so many extra hours that it was unlikely that there was ever going to be a reduction in overs. And as I said, I just thought that that they were able to handle those balls that kept low, kept those out, then played good, solid shots with a few innovations to the balls that were there. They seemed to strike the balance between recklessness and being too defensive. And I think that, it was a tightrope and they walked it really, really well. We've seen earlier in the tournament West Indies get marooned and not sort of get as many runs as they should have. Then we saw the reverse when England were batting, far too many aggressive shots, and it was all over before they really began.
Well, Paul and Tanmay seem to agree on India's masterclass chase template that they formed in yesterday's semi-final. We are at the heart of cricket activity where ICC headquarters is based out of, and we are talking about India's final foray into the T20 World Cup. Again, India's were the first team to win the finals, T20 World Cup, and today we are here on the cusp of history. Today, joining us on a special program is with my colleague, the Prince of Kolkata, Sourav Ganguly, talking exclusively to NewsX. Just listen in to what the Prince of Kolkata has to say.
फॉर्मर बीसीसीआई प्रेसिडेंट सौरभ गांगुली हम लोगों के साथ है। सर, कल तो फाइनल मैच है, एक सबसे बड़ा दिन इंडिया के लिए और साउथ अफ्रीका के लिए भी। आपको क्या लगता है क्या होने वाला है?
देखिए, ये तो बोलना मुश्किल है कि क्या होने वाला है, बट मैं चाहूँगा कि इंडिया जीते। पिछले 7 महीने में 2 बार वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल पहुँचे, एक 50 ओवर्स और अभी 20 ओवर का, तो उनके लिए माय गुड विशेस एंड आई होप दैट दे विन दिस टाइम।
ये टीम तैयार करने के पीछे सौरभ गांगुली का एक बड़ा अवदान है, क्योंकि राहुल द्रविड़ हो या विराट कोहली को बैटिंग ऑर्डर में ले आना, ये सौरभ गांगुली का एक हाथ है।
नहीं, कुछ नहीं है। राहुल द्रविड़ जब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में थे तो उनकी अपॉइंटमेंट हुई थी हमारे समय, रोहित शर्मा की कप्तानी भी उस समय हुई थी, बट खेलते तो वही हैं, वो खेलते हैं, वो टीम बनाते हैं, तो सबसे ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन, पूरा कंट्रीब्यूशन उनका ही है, क्योंकि फील्ड गेम ग्राउंड में होता है।
थोड़ा अभी विराट कोहली का जो फॉर्म थोड़ा ऑफ जा रहा है, तो क्या लगता है उनको फर्स्ट डाउन में आना चाहिए?
नहीं, वो ओपन करना चाहिए। गेम में कभी कभी ऐसे होता है, इतने बड़े प्लेयर है विराट कोहली, वंस इन अ जनरेशन प्लेयर है, और आशा करेंगे कि बड़ा मैच जो कल है उसमें रन बनाए।
शिवम दुबे को लेकर भी बहुत सारे चर्चा चल रहा है कि उनका फॉर्म चल नहीं रहा है, उनका बैट चल नहीं रहा है, मगर रोहित शर्मा जिस तरीके से उनका बल्ला चल रहा है, आपको क्या लगता है ये जो फाइनल होने जा रहा है इसमें कौन से प्लेयर, यंग जनरेशन या रोहित शर्मा विराट कोहली के जैसे?
ये थोड़ी बोल सकते हैं, बट सबको परफॉर्म करना ज़रूरी होगा, सबको अच्छे खेलने पड़ेंगे। ये टीम स्पोर्ट है, बैट्समैन, गेंदबाज सबको अच्छे खेलने पड़ेंगे।
ये जो बारबाडोस के पिच है, इस पिच में तो कहा जा रहा है कि जो फर्स्ट बॉलर है उनको एक फ़ायदा मिल सकता है। आपको क्या लगता है कि मोहम्मद सिराज को बैक में ले आना चाहिए?
वो पिच क्या होता है, इतना यहाँ से तो मैं बोल नहीं पाऊँगा, मैं इंडिया में हूँ और वो वेस्ट इंडीज़ में हो रहा है, तो जब कल टॉस होगा, पहला बॉल गिरेगा, तभी हम लोगों को पता चलेगा कि विकेट कैसा है।
साउथ अफ्रीका के लिए भी एक सबसे बड़ा दिन है, क्योंकि
बड़ा दिन है, पहला फाइनल है वर्ल्ड कप का 22 साल में 92 में वो आए थे वापस, और अब पहला वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल खेलेंगे, तो उनके लिए तो बहुत बड़ा दिन है।
राहुल द्रविड़ का ये लास्ट डे है, तो राहुल द्रविड़ का ये जो कोचिंग करियर, इसको लेकर आप क्या कहेंगे? लास्ट सवाल है ये।
सक्सेसफुल करियर, 2 वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल खेले हैं, और शायद कल वर्ल्ड कप विनर भी हो जाए। चाहेंगे कि वर्ल्ड कप विनर हो। खिलाड़ी के तौर मेरे साथ 3 वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल खेले हैं वो, 2001 में, 2002 में, 2003 में। उस समय T20 वर्ल्ड कप होता नहीं था। तो एक आउटस्टैंडिंग करियर रहा है उनका, और आशा करेंगे कि कल जीते। थैंक यू।
पूरा देश का जैसे उम्मीद है, वैसा ही सौरभ गांगुली का भी उम्मीद है कि कल राहुल द्रविड़ का जो कोचिंग में ये टीम इंडिया फाइनल जीतेगा, और रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली के मुंह में हंसी आएगा। कैमरा पर्सन अमित धनुक के साथ रौनिक दत्तो, इंडिया न्यूज, कोलकाता।
Well, thank you, Amit. That was my colleague based out of Calcutta talking about the importance of this particular day, which is the final of the T20. Again, very interesting point Tanmay Sourav Ganguly made, that in 7 months, India has reached twice in the final. It's important as well as it's a curse that we haven't been able to cross that line. Your views?
I think in 7 months, it's been twice. I think in a year, it's been 3 times. 2023 WTC final, which we lost to fellow people of Paul, to make it that 3 finals. Look, Rohit's done a fantastic job. And, you've got to give him a lot of credit. After the 2022 semi-finals, which we lost to England very badly, it has taken us good 24 months. Or, in this last 1 year, the sort of cricket we want to play. We've been sitting here as pundits and as experts. We rarely could point out one mistake and of this Rohit Sharma-led team. And, that's how clinical they've been. To have the margins that even yesterday they defeated England in, it's a big margin. And, they are going into this finals. And like obviously Dada said, that South Africa, this is their first final, so they'll be up for it. But I'm hoping for a good match, and I'm hoping that Rohit brings it home.
Well, Tanmay, very interestingly, people in India get emotionally overcharged. But Paul Dennett, who's part Australian, and I think in his mind he's half Englishman, Pom, but we'll have to ask him. Paul Dennett, shaking his head, but at the same time, I have to ask you this question. What is it that India needs to take care of? Because Australia has been under India's skin on those 2 of the 3 finals.
100% Australian, Sunil. Don't get that wrong. I think it's up to the fans to be realistic. That yes, India have played fantastically well in this tournament, and they go into the final as deserved favourites. But looking at the odds, it's kind of a 1 in 3 chance still that South Africa could win the final. That's a non-trivial chance. If you were rolling a dice and if you threw a 1 or a 2, you landed on a hotel, you'd be a bit nervous. So India could well lose this final, and then there'll be all sorts of doom and gloom in India because they'll say we've gone to 3 finals in the last 7 months and lost all of them. But I think that you've got to look at the totality of it and say you can't win every game. If they happen to have, South Africa get a spicy wicket and bowl first and take a few early wickets and get on top and win, so be it. It's kind of like a player towards the end of their career when they've had a few failures and then the next innings is so significant. Well, you can get a good one and nick and get out. I suppose it all comes down to those 13 years of history that India hasn't won a major tournament since that 2011 World Cup, and with 140 crore people on their backs, it must be enormously full of pressure. So I think they have to find a way to play with the freedom that especially Rohit Sharma has played in the last couple of games of just playing with that freedom and accepting they've got a long batting lineup. There might be a few early wickets, but they can ride those as long as they assess the wicket correctly. And that's another important point. As they did in this game, if the pitch in the final is such where you really only need 120 or 130, don't aim for 180 and end up getting bowled out for 90 in doing so.
Well, very important point you made. Tanmay, we've got the stats which are running on our screen right now. We've got all the statistics, but leaving that aside, what is it that India needs to take care of? Because Australia has been under India's skin on those 2 of the 3 finals. What is it that India needs to take care of? You've known Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar Yadav personally over the years. What kind of personality would it get too much on their head right now, or they'll just take it like another day in the office tomorrow when they walk into the field?
I think I don't know Surya personally, but Rohit I know on a very personal level. For Surya, I do believe it's a big opportunity for him to make history. In the last 4 years of T20 cricket that he's played, I think this is the first time he's going into a tournament. It's a big game for him. It's probably one of the biggest game of his life. So maybe he might feel the pressure a bit, but at the same time, excitement. As far as Rohit is concerned, look, he's been around the blocks. He knows exactly how it works. For him, it's more about bringing pride and happiness to the country and trying to deliver that more than anything. This guy was 20 years old when he won this World Cup. The inception of this tournament started with India winning it. So he's been around the block. He's seen the highs and lows. For him, he just knows that the reason why it's important is because his wicket holds the key for India winning this World Cup. If he stays around 7-8 overs, India will have a very good chance in this World Cup. So from that point of view, I'm sure he'll be relaxed. He's already delivered 2 blockbuster performances. I just hope that the wicket is good for batting. I think it's been used quite a bit. I think the center strip will come into attention, and I hope it's a run feast, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we all hope that it was a run feast this World Cup, but it was never to be. Paul Dinett, last question before we sum up our intriguing discussion. I wish we had more time, but coming back to you, we've got to look at the Indian bowling. What do you make of it? Is it the best Indian bowling attack in the last 30 years?
Well, I think that this generation is certainly the best. I mean, you could probably say that you'd want Mohammad Shami in there if you were going to have the absolute best because of what a class bowler he is. But I think there's no doubt that Jasprit Bumrah is the best fast bowler that India has ever produced. He may well be on the way to being just about the best fast bowler the world's ever produced. And, you got that trio of spinners. Maybe Jadeja hasn't been in quite the scintillating form that he has at other times, but he's one of my favourite players. I would never write him off. And I think that Arshdeep Singh has impressed me in this tournament as well. And Kuldeep Yadav, his re-emergence over the last couple of years after that, he was brilliant in the sort of 2017 period, right, and then dropped off a bit. His return, left arm leg, such a fiendishly difficult thing to face. And then Akshar Patel, I think that this generation, this last 5-6 years, is certainly the best cohort of Indian bowlers of all time, yes.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Tanmay. We also thank Snehal to join from Netherlands. But more importantly, Sourav Ganguly talking about the importance of the final, keeping the nerves, also shrugging off on Virat Kohli's average performance, as critics would call it. But that's all we have time for this wonderful edition of Cricit Predicta, which is an international way of joining fans, experts, and the podcasters. Keep watching NewsX.